Hi everyone, welcome back if you're already following me, and if you're new here, my name's Andrea. I'm a cuddle therapist, and I'm one of the few cuddle therapists that has not one but two office locations in actual office buildings. And today I'm going to talk about whether or not getting a office is the right move for you, for your cuddle therapy practice, whether you're currently a cuddle therapist or thinking about doing this in the future. I'm also going to go over the story of how I got an office and what led me to make that decision. So my story with getting an office is I started in 2019. I was doing really well because I signed up on Cuddle Comfort, and on that site, the new people get a lot of attention. Often those aren't the best clients because the predatory ones go after the inexperienced ones. But nevertheless, I was really busy when I first started. I got an overwhelming amount of requests, and I was doing pretty well right up until March of 2020. We all know what happened in March of 2020. You know, I laid low for a few months. I was in lockdown. And then, come summer of 2020, I'm like ready to get back out there, and things are not the same. One big thing is I'm not as busy. I've noticed like clients are more cautious. They're scared to go out. They don't want to spend as much money anymore. Before, like, there was no issue paying my fee plus the hotel room. Like, the extra $100 or so for the hotel was no big deal. Now people don't want to spend their money. They're worried about COVID, and there's new cuddle therapists on the market because people lost their job. They're looking for new sources of income. So I'm being hit at both ends with more competition, less demand, and a lot of people are complaining about me not hosting and having to pay for a hotel. So it was very clear I needed to be able to host my clients. There was no way I was going to be able to host in my apartment because I lived in a 2-bedroom with my boyfriend, and we have a bunch of pets. We had rabbits, guinea pigs. In September of 2020, we got 2 dogs. We are both kind of messy ADHDers. We work a lot. There was just no way having clients over was going to work, like both from a practical standpoint and, I had a lot of safety concerns and privacy concerns. So it was clear that the only real option was to get an office, and how I got the office will be another video. But for you, you've got to decide, is getting an office a worthy investment? Is it a smart move for your business? So my number one tip is you should not do this unless you are reasonably successful. You don't have to be hugely successful, but if you're not getting at least a couple sessions a week, you're probably not going to see amazing results from an office. Like, if you're only getting 1 or 2 clients a month, it's probably not worth it for you to get an office. I would really focus on figuring out why you're not getting as much business. Can you do anything about it? Like more marketing, more education? Do you have to move to another area? Is it worth your time moving to another area? How bad do you want to do this? Things like that. So getting an office will help a lot, but it's not going to be a miracle worker if you're barely getting anybody to begin with. I knew one cuddle therapist who thought that would help her business because she wasn't getting a ton, and it really didn't. So you just don't want to, I don't want to mislead anybody into thinking that, getting the office is the end all and be all to making them successful. It can help, but it's not everything. 2, I wouldn't go for an office unless you see yourself doing this for a while. If this is just a temporary side hustle for you, and you think, oh, if I get into a relationship or in a couple years, I won't need this anymore, it's probably not worth the effort to get an office space. 3, you should really have the time to take on more clients. Ideally, you want to increase your income to cover the cost of the office, plus pay yourself more for making that investment. So if you already have other commitments like a full-time job or, I don't know, kids, other responsibilities, and you're already maxing out the amount of time you can spend on cuddle therapy, it might not be worth your while to make that investment in an office, because you're not going to make any more. You're just going to be spending more every month. Number 4, if you've gotten client feedback to indicate that they would like it if you had a hosting space. So if you're like me and your clients are saying, hey, like, I really wish you could host, or I'd love to see you, but you can't host, or I'd see you more if you could host. Or if you ask them, hey, I'm thinking about getting an office in XYZ location, what do you think? And they give you positive feedback, that's an indicator you should go for it. If all your clients have you come to their home and they're happy with that and they don't want to go to your office, then why bother, you know? Now, obviously, if you get an office, you're gonna get new clients you haven't seen before because it'll be a new market. But if you're doing really well without calls already, it might not be worth your while. And number 5, you should really be confident and somewhat experienced in this work. So you should know how to pre-screen clients before agreeing to meet with them, and then how to enforce boundaries with existing clients and sessions when you're working out of an office space, especially, I mean, this is true for anyone, but especially an office space, you don't want any funny business happening. You know, you don't want to lose your space or get kicked out. You don't want to give Cuddle Therapy a bad name. So I would not, you know, get an office if you're just learning the ropes and just learning how to enforce boundaries and things like that. I highly recommend Cuddlist and Cuddle Sanctuary. So that's the end of this video. Like it and follow for the next video, where I'll talk about how to obtain an office space if you've decided it is the right move for you. Welcome back to my series on how to get an office space. If you haven't, please go and watch part 1. This is part 2, where we're going to discuss how to obtain an office. I have a lot of information to cram in this 3-minute video, so if you need me to elaborate on anything, please comment below. So the first step in your search is figuring out what your needs and parameters are, like square footage, pricing, location are all super important. Other things to consider are like specifications about the office. For example, do you want or need windows? Does the type of flooring matter? A lot of offices have ugly carpet. I lucked out and got click-lock laminate flooring in both of my spaces. Will the landlord let you paint, mount things on the wall, you know, put holes in the wall? If you want to decorate or hang a TV, you know, do you want to bring a pet? Is that allowed? All of those are really important things to consider before beginning your search. So once you kind of know exactly what you want, now you have to actually start looking. So a few places to look are Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and LoopNet. All have listings for offices, but you may not have luck searching online. Personally, I had the most luck with Facebook Marketplace, but I had to wait till something good came up. So another option, which I've had some limited luck with, although I didn't end up getting any of these places, is if you're driving around a commercial area, you might see signs like this in front of buildings, and they often don't have online listings. So you'll have to either pull over and walk up to the sign and take a picture like I did, or if you have a passenger in your car, if they can take a picture and then you can call that number later. It's helpful. Like, actually, I think your iPhone will tell you where this was located, or any smartphone, but those are a few ways to obtain an office. This you'll have to call and ask if they even have anything within your criteria. Another thing that can work is calling therapists' offices and other professional offices where there's multiple professionals having private rooms to see if they have any vacant rooms they'd be willing to sublease to you. So those are kind of take a little more effort, but if the traditional online listings aren't showing anything good, these are other avenues to explore. So I realize we are out of time, so stay tuned for part 3. Welcome back to part 3 of how to obtain an office space for your cuddle therapy practice. In part 1, I discussed whether or not getting an office space was the right move. In part 2, I talked about what to think about for parameters and also how to find an office space. So in this part, I'm going to discuss the actual reaching out, to set up the appointment, to look at the offices, what to look for, when you're touring the offices, and just signing the lease and kind of closing the deal. So when you reach out, I do not disclose any information unless asked. And that's just good advice in general, not to give away too much. So I would just simply say, hi, my name's Andrea, I'm interested in this office space. If there was no price listed, I'd say, how much does it cost, or is it available? If it was furnished, I might ask if I could get it unfurnished, because obviously my needs are not what the typical pre-furnished office is gonna have. I found that I have better luck with smaller mom and pop places than the big corporate places like Regus. So eventually they probably will ask what your business is, and I find it's best to be confident and matter of fact about it. I had a much easier time the second time around, and I think there was a few reasons why. Number one, I was in a different area, so I think, in the Philly suburbs, especially like Bucks County, is a little more conservative, where I was in Jersey the second time. It was 2 years later, so there's been a lot more, media, and just more people now know what cuddle therapy is. I think the stigma is lessening each and every year. But I think also, I had more credentials and more confidence. I already had another office. I'm yeah, I'm expanding my business, and here's my website, here's some news articles. I looked a lot more legit the second time around, where I was super nervous the first time. But either way, you're probably gonna get some rejection, and it's just part of the process. Don't let it discourage you. You just have to be persistent and keep going until someone accepts you. It might take you several months to find a place, but if you keep looking, keep your eyes open, eventually something will pop up. Especially right now, a lot of companies have not renewed their leases and they're just going full remote. So I think people are more willing to be flexible than ever. So once you kind of find someone that's willing to work with you and your business, then you are going to want to go and tour the spaces, take some measuring tape with you, because I had one place tell me the room was 100 square feet, but it was 50 square feet, and there was no way I could fit a queen size bed and everything else I needed. Look at the common areas, look at the parking situation, just think about the general drive there and if it's going to be convenient for people. Look at the bathrooms. One thing to consider is if there's an area you can eat, because if you're having a break between sessions or a long session and you want to share a meal with clients, it's nice to have somewhere to sit down, but it's not essential. So consider all those things, and once you find a place that you really like and you're ready to kind of move forward and sign the lease, try to negotiate. This is where you're going to want to confirm that if you want to paint or make any kind of changes to the space, that you're allowed to do that. If you want to bring pets, all of that, make sure that you are, getting things met on your terms. Another few things you can negotiate are things like the length of lease, what's included in the lease. In my experience, basic utilities like electric, gas, water are already included, but in my Jersey office, internet was not originally included. But I explained to the landlord, it's a lot more if we all each have to pay for our own internet plan versus if we all just shared, the same internet for the whole suite. We could just pay slightly extra in rent, and per person it's a lot less. So I convinced her to, and it would be more enticing because they were still trying to find more tenants to fill up the other rooms. So like it'll also help you guys. So I convinced them to get internet because it's something I need just for like things like music and smart bulbs and the occasional, like I occasionally watch something on the smart TV, but I'm not like, you know, on a computer all day every day. So I didn't think I needed like my own personal internet plan. So, you know, those were all things I was able to negotiate. I was able to negotiate down to a 6-month lease rather than a year, just because I didn't want to have it fail and then be stuck. What else? Sometimes you can even negotiate on the price, but don't be too aggressive with this because you don't want it to fall through. But if you know it's been vacant for a while, and you think you can get them to come down a little bit, it's worth a shot. So once you've negotiated everything, you want to also check in with them about what the township requirements are, like if you need any, like what's required of you to operate your business there. Usually the landlords will help set up things like the fire safety inspections and all of that. I've been pretty lucky where the requirements have not been extensive, but there are fees just to get like a use and occupancy permit and things like that, but they're like maybe $100 to $200. It's nothing huge. You will probably have to pay 2 to 3 months up front, you know, first, last security. So you are gonna need a few $1,000s in cash just to get started. You know, with the stuff, which we'll talk about in the next video, you can finance some of that, so you're not taking too big of a hit financially. But that's pretty much everything you need to obtain the office. So in the next video, we'll talk about what you need, what products I recommend, and how to set it up. So like and follow for that video. Welcome back to part 4 on how to obtain and set up a Cuddle therapy office. On this part, we're going to focus on planning your space and picking a theme and setting an intention for it. So in an earlier video, I said to bring measuring tape when you go to look at the office. So before you even sign the lease, you really want to map out your room and make sure that everything you want will fit. This was actually an old apartment of mine, but I couldn't find an example from my offices, but there are plenty of free programs like this where you can kind of plan where your furniture will go and ensure that the room is big enough for your needs. The next step is figuring out a theme or design. I highly recommend you do make your space as beautiful as possible because clients will notice and it will impact the quality of their experience, and it will set you apart from your local competition if you do have a beautiful Cuddle space. So you could either do a full-blown theme like I have a forest theme here, or if you just wanted to keep it simple with a color palette, but make sure you put a lot of love and thought into your space. So obviously you could copy my forest design, but I had some other ideas I wanted to share with you as well. So if you don't have windows, a dark and moody kind of theme is a galaxy/outer space design. You could buy an outer space tapestry and paint the walls in darker colors and do a ceiling projector with stars and the galaxy. That could be a lot of fun. You could do an under the sea theme, and that could go well with both windows or no windows. I would probably get a tapestry like this. You could do a sky/celestial heavenly type of theme if you have a lot of natural light. Or if you don't have a lot of light, you could do these cool cloud lights, which you can either make or buy online. And if you're into the light and airy look and have light, you could do this boho plant mom look. Here's just a few more pictures for inspiration because I was gonna get this office which had a lot of light and I wanted to do this, but it fell through. And here's another one, and just one more. Now obviously it's your space, make it your own, but here are just a few ideas to jog your creativity. Let me know in the comments if you have any themes or ideas for a Cuddle space, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll discuss all the things you need to buy for your space. So like and follow for more Cuddle content. Welcome back to part 5 of my series on getting a cuddle therapy office. In this part, I'm just going to talk about all the stuff you need to physically set up your space. None of this is sponsored. I paid for all of this with my own money, or it was made or gifted to me by someone I know. No company sent me anything. So the first thing I want to start with is the bed. That's your cuddle surface. I would not skimp on this. If anything, this is where you want to spend your money. So I have the original purple mattress. I really love it because it is cooling. It's not memory foam. It's got this like gel grid so the air can flow through. It's a medium firmness, so it's not too soft, not too firm. Most of my clients really love it. If you have even bought these purple mattresses because of our sessions, they should be paying me, honestly. The bed frame, this was kind of a DIY thing. Like, we bought the base on Wayfair and then wrapped it in fabric and then custom built these 2 headboards, which are hanging on the wall independently with French cleats. It's actually 3 separate pieces there. So if you want to know more about that bed, I can share that with you, but I would recommend going bigger with the bed just because you want to have different room to do different cuddle positions and fit larger bodied and taller clients and not feel tight on space. If you can, go bigger. So they do sell corner day beds like this, but there just aren't a lot of options, and I wanted something very specific that I just could not find for sale. So the next thing you want to think about is pillows. So for me, I have I have 2 types of pillows, 2 of each, so 4 pillows. So for the main pillow that you're gonna feel your head against, I have these purple Harmony pillows. And these are kind of expensive, but super comfortable. And then these were just kind of generic pillows I bought on Amazon, but they don't like bunch up like some pillows do. They hold their shape, they stay fluffy, so I really like them. If you're interested, I can set up a thing with links, but I don't have that. So these were pretty cheap. These are like over $100 each. So these kind of go in the back so you can prop up. And along the back of my bed, I've got a body pillow, which I'm probably going to replace at some point with something where I can change the cover, but that's good if we want to lean up against here. And then I've got these other pillows just for extra support, and sometimes they're just decoration. But anyhow, we are out of time, so stay tuned for part 6, where I will keep going on about all the things you need. Welcome back to my series on obtaining a cuddle therapy office. This is part 6, where I'm just going to continue talking about all the things you should buy for your cuddle space. So in the last video, I talked about the mattress and the bed frame and the pillows. In this video, we're going to get into the sheets and the blankets. Again, I would definitely not skimp on the sheets, but you don't have to spend a fortune either. I really love California Design Den because they have really high quality, 100% cotton sheets for really reasonable prices. I think I got my first sheets back in 2020 and I wash them constantly and they are still holding up. I've got about 6 sets now because it's really helpful to have a lot of sets when you're doing so many sessions every week. These are about $60 on sale right now. Normally they're about $80-ish, but that's an amazing price because high quality sheets can be hundreds of dollars. This is a little more basic, but I really love these Bedsure fleece blankets. Very plush and soft. They're about $20 or $30. And if you're wondering how to transport all these sheets, presuming that you're going to be washing the sheets at home and bringing them to your office, I just get these laundry bags for each sheet and blanket set I own. That makes transporting them really easy. I don't fold them, I just throw them in there. So another really important element to consider is your lighting. Most offices are just going to come with ugly fluorescent lights, which you do not want in a cuddle session. So I just bought 2 cheap little table lamps. So I use these Philips Whiz lights in my lamps because they give you so many color choices. I've had them 2.5 years and they are still going strong. There's an app on your phone called the Whiz app, and you can control the lights just from your phone and do all these fun different colors. So I let the clients pick what color they want for their session. And then to add to the ambiance and to create some visual stimulation, I also have this Northern Lights ceiling projector. I've been through a bunch of different projectors. To be honest, they're cheaply made. They don't last forever, but this one's about 30 bucks and I've had it over a year now, maybe 2, I forget, but you can do it in a bunch of different colors and match it to the light, and it really makes the room pop. We are out of time, so like and follow for part 7 if you want to learn more about how to set up your space. Welcome back to part 7 of my series on getting a cuddle therapy office. So I'm just continuing on all the things you want to buy for your space. So I find that playing some relaxing music really helps enhance the session. So you're going to want a good quality speaker. I've got a JBL here and a Bose in the other one. So any like reputable brand should work. Just don't get a really cheap knockoff brand speaker. So another thing, which this is not a must-have, but this cost me, I think, like 20 bucks, is just to get a little diffuser. I have a huge aromatherapy collection. I've got like 60 some different oils. You don't have to go crazy, but I would, you know, at least get good quality oils. I like Plant Therapy because they're a very reputable brand. Every oil they have is authentic. They're not using fake fragrance oils, and they're not an MLM. I believe doTERRA and Young Living are MLMs, and I hate MLMs. But yeah, you want to have, you know, if you can get some essential oils, even if it's just the most popular ones, or some blends from a good quality brand, that can really enhance your session. But always ask, because not everyone likes them, but a lot of mine do. Box of tissues, you know, emotions can run high, people cry. So having tissues, a little nightstand is really helpful because, you know, you want a place to put your phone or your drink down. I found this in an Airbnb I stayed in once. It's just this I don't even call it, like a 3-prong phone charger. So you've got Lightning, USB, micro USB and USB-C. So any phone type a client has, I have a charger right here for them. They don't even have to look that far. So some other things you're gonna want to think about are decorating the walls. I got permission to paint the wall to kind of go with the theme. So if your landlord allows you and you have the ability to paint it a pretty color, I recommend that. I got this tapestry on Etsy from Walnut for like $200 some. Sorry, not tapestry, macrame. So I also bought these wall tapestries on Amazon. I would recommend getting a steamer because mine have wrinkles in them still, but yeah, you can get wall tapestries that are really big and have a big impact for covering a lot of the space without spending a fortune, but it is nice to have something on your walls. So like and follow for part 8, where I'll continue on about all the things you need for your office. Welcome back to part 8 on my series on getting a cuddle therapy office. So I'm just going to continue on about all the things you need to buy, or I recommend you buy for your space. So hygiene is super important in a cuddle session, and while I hope that clients take care of their hygiene at home, it doesn't hurt just to help them out and help yourself out a little bit by being prepared with things in your office. So in both of my offices, I have this little setup here on my storage cabinet. I've got a pump bottle of mouthwash. I've got little cups for the mouthwash. I've got some hand sanitizer. I also have spare clothes if anybody is in a situation where maybe they're coming from work or their clothes aren't clean, they sweat through their clothes are too formal, whatever. I have like sizes small through double XL I've got little like dollar store, Target toothbrushes and toothpastes. I've got deodorants. So all of that can come in handy. I myself have had to use some of these things in a pinch, in different situations life throws at you. So this is more of an optional purchase, but I do recommend offering at least room temperature water to your clients. If you have some extra money and you can find a good deal on a nice beverage fridge like this, I think I got this for like $200. I would recommend it, and that way you can offer a variety of drinks to your clients and also stay hydrated yourself. I also recommend having snacks in your office. I honestly eat a lot of them myself, but it's nice to also offer them to clients because, you know, people come in, they may not have had a meal recently, they might feel hungry at the end. It saved me a lot of money from going and getting food on my way home because I can tide myself over with a snack. So I have some drawers filled with snacks at all times. And I just think it's a nice amenity to offer if you have the extra cash to do so. Another thing that's really handy to have are some cuddle position books. I've got my own DIY book, which I've showed you before. I've got Touch by Sam Hess. I've got the Cuddle Sutra, and I've got the Book of Cuddles. And all of these are really helpful because it gives you and your clients a visual guide, and so you can communicate and name the positions and be on the same page. So like and follow for part 9, where I will continue to go on about all the stuff you need in your office.